Hi, Google.
Kupu.
So, welcome to My Little Pony: The Legacy. Right here, if you don't know who that is on the front, that would be Megan, which there were humans in the 80s. You just killed Firefly. You killed my baby. That's my favorite My Little Pony of all time. So, you killed my baby. But, and so the one she just killed is the one that's on here.
She's okay.
She's fine. So we have a little bit of a shout out to Firefly. Friendship is Magic has now mentioned her. So this is Firefly, just so everybody knows what she looks like.
Is everybody caught up on Friendship is Magic?
Yes.
Okay, for those of you, you know the episode where Rainbow Dash is trying to memorize everything for her Wonderbolts test?
Woo!
They mentioned Captain Firefly, which is a hat tip to this pony here, who in Gen 1 is the best flyer. This is the Rainbow Dash of Gen 1.
And we will be showing a clip later, so you'll get to see her in action. Alright, so right here what we have is a graph to show you. When Lauren Foss was making My Little Pony, she wanted to do a shout out to the 80s ponies that she grew up with. The only problem with that was Hasbro lost the rights to all the ponies except for Spike's name and Applejack. Why it was Applejack, they didn't lose, I don't really know. But what she did was, she took the ponies that she loved from the 80s, and then she took a pony from the generation that they hadn't lost, and she kind of just mixed them together. So she took the personality of the 80s pony and put it in with the newer gen. So the first column over here has the ones that the main 6 are based off of. So we've got Twilight at the top, Surprise, Posy, Firefly, Applejack, and Sparkler. So Twilight became Twilight Sparkle. Surprise became Pinkie Pie because it literally is just the same one.
And they took her name, obviously, from the hated Gen 3 pony.
So you have to thank Gen 3 just a little bit, because otherwise you wouldn't get the Pinkie Pie you have now. Posy became Fluttershy, and we'll talk more about the original ones in a minute. Firefly became Rainbow Dash.
But if touching on Gen 3, Gen 3 Rainbow Dash is actually more personality-wise like Rarity. They just stole her coloring, and name.
Applejack is still Applejack, and then Sparkler became Rarity. But we kind of have a fan thought of this also.
Headcanon.
Yes, headcanon. There is a pony called Heartthrob that we think had a little bit to do with Rarity because she makes costumes all the time, wears them, and is completely full of herself.
So like, oh darling, I'm so beautiful.
There's actually an episode where they go to this big like mansion house and they had put like this stable on the inside of the pony stick to stay in. So one of the ponies is like, "Have you ever seen something more glamorous in your life?" And she's like, "Not since I looked in the mirror this morning, darling." So yeah, that's kind of.
So our headcanon is Lauren Faust threw a little bit of a heartthrob into Rarity as well.
Alright, so the first one is Posy. That's what became Fluttershy. In Gen 1, she was still kind of the mother of everybody. She took care of the baby ponies in the nursery. She was a planter though. She loved gardening. That was her thing. And they made a shout out to the episode where Fluttershy with the cute little guys that just multiplied everywhere.
That's right.
Yes.
Thank you.
In Gen 1, she found these plants and they were dying and she wanted to take care of them, so she planted them in the garden and fed them.
They were like anthro plants that could talk and walk and stuff like that.
And so they kind of tried to take over and just like, yeah, so they kind of made a shout out to that. It's also kind of like the Trouble with Tribbles. They kind of, put a shout out to that too. This one is Sparkler, so this one is the one that Rarity is based off of. She did kind of have a attitude with her. So, if you did something that she didn't really like, she was going to call you out on it. So I think that's kind of where Rarity's assertive, you're doing something and I don't like it. came from. And then we have Firefly. Firefly is best friend.
I promise I won't throw her off the table again.
Yes, please don't kill my baby. So Firefly is from the original pilot episode. The ponies that are in the pilot episode, with technically the exception of Applejack because she became a Friendship is a Magic pony, they were never featured in another episode. So which was really sad because a lot of them were really awesome. But we'll show a clip from the pilot episode so you guys will get to see the original.
In Gen 1, how it was set up is the ponies world and our world are like parallel dimensions that are connected by the rainbow. And only the strongest flyer can cross the rainbow, and that would be Firefly, which is sort of like, Rainbow Dash being the only one who can do the sonic rain move.
And I think North Star Quinn got her once.
Yeah.
So North Star kind of
So
became
only the
messenger.
strongest Kassy can cross the rainbow and get humans. Yes, there are humans in Gen 1.
Yes, we'll touch on that. And then we have Twilight. And so Twilight was my favorite. She actually, they had a thing in Gen 1 that was called winking in and out. And they didn't call it something in the first pilot episode, but they kind of gave a name to it. But basically, unicorns could disappear and reappear in different places. The only stipulation was you could not go through walls, and you had to be able to see where you were going. So like one time they got locked in a dungeon, and so there were bars. They couldn't wink through the bars. It had to be like an open field or something. And there's actually an episode where they explain that they kind of go through a different dimension. So who here is X-Men fans? Do we have any X-Men fans? Okay, so you know how Nightcrawler kind of goes through a different dimension where he goes through? That's what happened, is that somehow when they were winking out, this guy was trying to bring back, take over Ponyland and bring back kind of a dark thing. They got stuck in that dimension, and then, they're like, oh, you have ponies, we're going to go put you in the dungeon. So they kind of put an homage to that. I don't know if that was purposeful or not, but Twilight is kind of paid homage in Friendship is Magic because Twilight Sparkle's mom looks almost exactly like Twilight. So they kind of put a little...
I want to interject one more thing about the winking in and out. If you go back and rewatch season 1, you will see Twilight Sparkle do winking in and out every once in a while. They don't call it that ever, but she does the iconic winking in and out.
And then, I could not find any good pictures of Surprise. Yes, here?
Sorry, I can't remember. What was the sign up?
Oh, the raffle. There's a raffle for this prize over here, and so you just write your name on it, and then we're gonna draw it randomly.
I should have probably got my scissors.
Probably. We'll figure it out.
I can run for it later.
Okay. So I couldn't find any really good pictures of Surprise. Most of them were really blurry. So I used the actual pony that they made. So we have a Surprise and Baby Surprise. And I think she is. So Surprise is basically Pinkie Pie, to be perfectly honest. Pinkie Pie with really bad luck. Because she always tries to do these surprises and they always backfire.
Yeah,
So,
whereas Pinkie Pie in Gen 4, everybody loves her surprises. She throws the best parties and all that. Surprise just kind of misses.
there's one point in, it's my favorite Gen 1 episode, but the Big Brother ponies are coming home, so they're kind of like decorating for their homecoming. So Buttons is putting all of these balloons on the wall, and Surprise runs behind her and goes, "Surprise!" And the the pail of nails fly and pop all the balloons. And so she's like, "Wasn't that a great surprise?" And Buttons like, "Yeah." And then we have Applejack. This is a fan art of Applejack because, yet again, I couldn't really find a good picture of Applejack. Applejack has the worst luck ever. In the pilot episode, she manages to get in trouble 3 times. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll work on it.
Okay. She gets, Firefly tries to do one of her tricks, slams into her, and all her apples go everywhere. She falls off this bridge 5 seconds after this and falls in the water. Megan has to go save her with the sea ponies. And then
Megan's one of the humans, for those who don't know.
Yes, and then she gets kidnapped and turned into a dragon. dragon. So she
Yeah,
kind of
just
has the worst
normal
luck.
day.
And she has the funniest voice. It's like deep and scratchy. The clip we're gonna show.
Sounds like she's plugging her nose when she talks.
Yeah. And she's already dragging in the clip we're going to show her, so that's why I was kind of telling you what she sounded like, because you won't hear it. So then we have Spike. So this is what Spike looks in Friendship is Magic. And in the original, he's a big dragon. He hangs around with mostly the baby ponies because it's kind of like, oh, you know my pain of being a baby. And he kind of ends up being like a little mini protector for all the baby ponies. And usually, like, if one runs off, he kind of feels like he has to go make sure they're okay, or,
Spike is best big brother.
he is Beth's big brother. In the original, he actually was with Scorpion, which we'll touch on that in like a couple slides.
Which, if you're caught up, that name should ring a bell.
And so he ended up just staying with the ponies. So here's T-Rex. So if you're completely caught up, this will be the bad guy. And you'll see him in the pilot episode. That's what he's actually from. And I'm amazed they actually managed to keep the copyright for that name. Because they got to use it. But he's kind of really scary in the 80s one, and I guess if you were 5 and watching it in the 80s, it might be kind of scary.
Okay, she hasn't seen the Friendship is Magic version of it. He's scary in that.
Okay. He just looks, I don't know, like the whole Powerpuff Girl, like,
No.
his magic drawing, just
For
kind of.
Friendship is Magic, he's pretty dark.
Okay. And so basically, he's trying to bring about a world of darkness, is what he's doing in the pilot episode, by turning ponies into dragons and screaming a lot. And then we have Scorpion. Scorpion's actually pretty badass in the 80s version. He takes Spike, has been with him since he was just a baby dragon. And he's kind of getting used by T-Rex to do what he has to do. He's actually originally a prince that was turned into...
He's not T-Rex brother in this version. They are not related.
He's actually a good guy. Scorpion took over his kingdom, turned him into that, and is making him do his bidding and kidnap the ponies. And so at the very end, you know, when he sees that Spike's getting threatened and what's actually happening to the ponies, he's like, I am not being a part of this anymore, and he decides to help the ponies out and try to defeat T-Rex. So then this is what he looks like in Friendship is Magic.
Yeah,
Kind of
because
cute
they just
and
talked
funny.
about him and showed him in a book. But fingers crossed they'll actually introduce him for real into the series.
All right, so now it's clip time. What you'll see in the clip is you're gonna end up seeing. Sorry, I have like 4,000 things open. You will be able to see Megan, which is one of the humans. She has a little brother and a little sister. The brother's name is Danny. The sister's name is, I totally just forgot what her name was, Molly. They're kind of like the whole, like, you're my little sister and I'm going to torture you dynamic. But, you know, when she actually does something legit, he goes, okay, you actually earned your stripes there. I'm kind of proud of you. One time he actually says, because you're my little sister, and hugs her and gives her a kiss, and she's like, ew, Danny's giving me a kiss. I don't like it. But Danny's voice is actually done by Scott Menville. So if you watch Teen Titans, that's Robin. And you have to listen because it doesn't actually sound like him. It sounds more like when he was in Tales of Symphonia. It sounds more like Lloyd on Teen Titans. But if you listen really hard, you can tell that that's who it is. But I don't have a clip for that because I keep not being able to find a clip for it. But I'm going to show you the end battle scene from the pilot episode.
How are we ever gonna inside? Oh, darkness that darkness sends, now begin the nights that never end. All Director named Scorpion.
So there you go. That's what actually happens in the pilot episode. But you can kind of see it was a little darker back in the day. So the other clip we're going to show, who here has seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged? Anybody? Okay, there's a certain episode in which somebody goes the smooth, and Taya goes, no, not the smooth, and Yomi goes, nothing can stop the smooth. That's from My Little Pony, and we're going to show what that is. Okay, so give me a second here. I gotta play what's in the CD. It wouldn't like stop playing the music when I was doing it. One second. Pop this out one second. Gotta love technology. It's great.
When it works.
And the Firefly was voiced by Sandy Duncan, if anybody knows who that is. The three witches are voiced by Rhea Perlman, Cloris Leachman, I always pronounce her last name wrong, and Madeline Kahn. So if you're older and you've seen Young Frankenstein, or if you've seen the movie Sky High.
Yeah, Young Frankenstein, Cloris Leachman is Frau Booker. Thank you. And Madeline Kahn is Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein's girlfriend.
Well, it goes the hair, the tap.
Yeah. And ends up hooking up with the monster.
Yeah, and Rhea Perlman was married to Danny DeVito. So
she's in Cheers,
Matilda,
Taxi, like all of the old sitcoms.
And there was also a show called My Little Pony Tales. So it was them going to school and hanging out at the shop. There was like a big shop. They had a couple of them that were in a band.
My Little Pony Tales was actually a lot closer to Friendship is Magic in that it followed a group of ponies that are friends. And it is more about friendship than the magical aspect of it. And so that was a separate series, but it was still considered Gen 1.
And the interesting thing is, who here has seen Death Note in English? Anybody? Who here has seen Gundam Wing? Okay. Well, the voice of Catcher from Gundam Wing and the voice of Light from Death Note, the first thing he ever did was a My Little Pony. So unfortunately, I can't find the clip on YouTube. I think somebody actually took it off, so I wasn't able to get it. But if you ever can find the My Little Ponytails episode, Rolling Around the Clock, he sings in that. And it's hilarious because it's the first thing he ever did. And if you listen, you can hear it. Going along, are you close to getting ready for your section? Or are you going to keep doing voice actor?
Keep doing voice actors.
Who here has ever seen the movie Susie Q? It was a Disney Channel movie. The little sister in that movie is the voice of Pinkie Pie. So it's kind of funny because she's a total brat in that movie. And it cracks me up. Also, who's seen Tenchi Muyo? Anybody? Oh, I was hoping there'd be more hands raised. This is one of those generation gap things going on. The voice of Sasami from that also does a baby pony called Baby Half Note. So there's a lot of voice actors that kind of did some voice acting in My Little Pony. That was kind of like their start. The other clip that we have that I can see if I can find for you guys. Bart, the girl that did Bart Simpson, did My Little Pony as well. And so it's like hearing a girl version of Bart Simpson. It's pretty
So I just wanted to do one thing, even though the voice actor thing is her thing. I just want to mention that not only Rhea Perlman, but also Danny DeVito did voice acting for My Little Pony. And it was because their kids were huge pony fans and bullied them into it. And so,
Daddy, can you do this?
Danny DeVito still to this day says that My Little Pony was the most embarrassing job he ever took.
But he actually did pretty good in it, so.
Yeah, and he did play a villain, which is surprising.
Yeah.
I cast him as a villain.
And if anybody knows who Tony Randall is, he's also passed away, but he did the voice of the moon chick that they were talking about in the movie. He kind of was like the person that the ponies would go to for advice, except for sometimes his elevator didn't go to the top floor. Usually his bunny was the one that was always like knowing what needed to be done. My internet hates me, so unfortunately you will not be able, oh wait, no, I found it. I forgot to get the clip, so I apologize for that. But the bunny was kind of like the one that always like told him what he needed to do or would help him without talking. So usually it was like gestures of over here, it's over here.
And I think that bunny also is what inspired Angel, Fluttershy's bunny in Gen 4.
Because she kind of always seems to know what's going on.
Yeah, it was like a less snarky version of Angel.
Also in the animated series, there with the baby ponies, there were also the first tooth ponies. So they were ponies that had like one tooth, and they were kind of adorable. But they were kind of like that whole I want to grow up really fast thing. So the ponies would go, oh, you can do this when you're older. And then when they had the newborn twins, so there were two sets of twins, it was kind of that, oh, the twins get all the attention, so we kind of have to go get in trouble all the time so they can actually tell that we exist. Yeah, it's,
with the first series, My Little Pony and Friends, it ran for 2 seasons, and the first season was all about the magic and lore behind it. But second season, it started being how many of the new toy lines can we incorporate into the story? So that's why they were like, we have the baby ponies, the first tooth ponies, the big brother ponies. And I mean, they had some good material out of it, but yes, the second season was a big marketing scam.
And the only boy ponies in 80s was the Big Brother ponies, which they looked like Clydesdales, and they were racers, so they were like in a 2-part episode, and that's pretty much it. Which kind of means that the girls like had to take care of the kids by themselves, and then the boys come into town and they're like, hooray!
I don't know if we have any underage people here.
Yeah, there's a bit.
Okay, I will be very discreet about it, but you can tell the ponies are getting excited when the big brothers come in town for certain extracurricular activities. I mean, even as a kid, I'm watching that and I'm like, yeah, let's see, there's how many big brothers and how many of the mares? Okay.
The only other boy pony that's ever mentioned is Nightshade, and it was kind of like their version of the 80s Michael Jackson, not like
with a little bit of Liberace and Prince thrown in too.
Yeah.
He's just the most fabulous pony.
And so he's a singer, and this guy kind of like cons him into singing, and then he would like release this cloud that would suck everybody's happiness out. So they would just kind of become like soulless, is basically what it was kind of like. So then the ponies help him, fix that, and they break the machine, and then everybody gets their happiness back. But he basically took his did that to his mom, and basically said, well, if you want your mom to go back to normal, you kind of have to help me out. So he kind of gets forced into it. Still there, dear? Almost. Does anybody have any questions about the animated series before we talk about the
Kassy.
It's not going to play,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Darn it.
Yes,
Are
dear.
you guys going to talk about My Little Pony tales that happened after the My Little Pony friends?
We actually talked about it right before you walked
Crap.
in.
Basically, all I said about it was that it's more like Friendship is Magic in that it concentrates less on the magical world and more on the group of friends and their dynamic and just doing regular stupid teenager stuff together and about friendships. And there is one episode, do you remember, I forget what season it was in, but the one where Twilight is given like 2 tickets to something and she has to pick a friend to go with her. That is like directly ripped from My Little Pony Tales. The ending of My Little Pony Tales episode, however, has the pony who got the 2 tickets just saying screw it, selling them off to somebody else, and sitting at home and watching the concert with all her friends on the TV. So it had a different ending, but it was pretty much the same storyline. Let's see, what else can I say about the Tales? Do you have the Tales theme song? Because it's so fun. We should play the theme songs.
But I can play the original 80s. But the My Little Pony Tales theme is pretty fun.
It's so catchy. If she has it.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions while I try and bring that up? Anybody? Yes.
What did you think of G3?
Somebody had to go there.
Somebody did. I won't touch G3 with a 10-foot pole, so that would be
Okay,
you actually suffer through it.
So for G3, what you gotta understand, and I suffered through it because I worked in a daycare for a while. So G3 was when My Little Pony sales were not going so well. They were trying to bring it back, and so they decided to go for a much, much younger audience. And so they essentially made My Little Pony. Yes.
I found the Gusty clip, everyone. It's all right. And I found the Death Note one too. So we'll do that.
But so they tried to make it very kid-friendly preschool instead of being a show for a little bit older kids. So it was okay for what it was, but it was not something they should have done to My Little Pony, in my opinion, and I'm sure many of yours. They did have some really good character designs in Gen 4, and Friendship is Magic, in Gen 3. And Friendship is Magic actually has taken stuff from Gen 3 and Gen 3.5, because your Cutie Mark Crusaders, those were ponies from Gen 3. The Breezies, they were they replaced the Flutter ponies from Gen 1, and then they've been recreated again for Gen 4. So we did get some good things out of Gen 3 that have been reworked, remade, and put into Gen 4. So
They just had to be reworked to actually,
it served its purpose.
And
we did get names for many of our main 6 from Gen 3, so you gotta at least like it for that.
So this is a clip that has the Bart Simpson one. The corner of face that you see is going to be the voice of Bart Simpson, so I'm going to play this. So the two that you see here is Shady and Wood Whistler. Shady's your favorite, right?
I like Shady.
Yeah, she likes Shady.
Shady has luck like mine.
Yeah, and she thinks that she's awful at everything and is like scared of everything. And Wind Whistler, when she talks, she uses like really long, elaborate words that no like child is really gonna know. And so a lot of the time that she'll say something, and the ponies will go, "What?" And then she has to like go, and then she like kind of dumbs it down so they can understand what she says. So when her and Busy talk to each other, it's hilarious.
So Wind Whistler kind of also, I think, inspired Twilight just with the whole Brainiac thing. But another headcanon.
Oh, I forgot to unmute it. Hold on, sorry. I muted it so I wouldn't talk.
I've never been very good at polo.
Polo is not difficult. Keeping the ball in play is a simple matter of potential energy meeting mass and being converted into kinetic energy.
Huh?
Well, Wind Whistler means, JD, is just whack up with your nose. Here it comes!
Just not cut out for this stuff.
Come on, Shady, it's not that hard. You just have to keep your eye on the ball.
I got it!
I object! The rules explicitly state that the ball may not be engaged by unicorn magic.
Don't panic. I'll get it down as soon as I figure out how.
Perhaps I can be of assistance.
Yeah, there you go. You get to hear Bart Simpson. So now I'll play
Bart
like.
Simpson is best pony.
One of those ponies voiced by Kathy Beachlook?
Yes, I believe it was Busy. I think Busy's first. Yeah. Sound right. All right. So now for Death Note, and sadly, I actually know the exact time on this recording in which he starts singing. Is how many times I've shown this to him.
And this is from My Little Pony Tales. So
Yes.
this is the second series. Yeah.
Listen, the thing with girls is they like you to play hard to get. Sit down. We're gonna tell it like it is. I don't understand why I can't just be myself. Because as yourself, you have no partner for the skate dance contest, right? But when we get done with you, you'll have girls hanging all over you. Want girls at your feet? Don't be friendly or sweet. Lesson number 1. Listen to me, son. Here's the way it's done. Don't act shy and nervous like a fool. You have to play a part. Play cool. Cool. But
That is why I can never watch Death Note with a straight face. Just saying. Yep. All right. So now it's your turn, lady.
All right, so I'm kind of the collectibles nerd out of the two of us. So I'm going to tell you about the collection of the figures. So when the ponies first came out, the first run had about 8 different ponies, and it was pretty much the same pose, same face, just different coloring. And yes, there's a book going around that has like the history of Gen 1 ponies. But so the Applejack pony toy that she had earlier in her slideshow was one of those. No, you had Applejack in your
Oh yeah, I did.
in your grid. But so their first attempt at My Little Pony, they made like all the same pose, all the same face, and then they just slapped different colors, different cutie marks on them. And they sold like hotcakes. Everybody loved them. And Applejack was the first one they made. So Applejack is original pony. So after that, they started messing around with different poses, and you got your unicorns and your Pegasi. So as you can see, this one's kind of lifting off. We have this one doing like the little fancy foot thing.
I'm gonna pass them around. If I don't get Firefly back, I'm gonna find her. I'll come after you. Come on, baby.
And so once the series started, that's when they started getting creative with things, and they would create new lines. This one here was one of their original princess ponies. And the princess ponies all had these nice metallic 3D cutie marks. And in the series, they all lived together in this princess commune or whatever.
And they were all like trying to go, I'm best pony. No, I'm best pony.
Yeah. So the princesses were actually kind of brats.
That's true.
They were nowhere near as cool as our Gen 4 princesses now. Like I mentioned before, and you'll probably see it in the book, there were the flutter ponies, which Gen 4 has done something similar to flutter ponies in their glimmer wing ponies. Like if you remember the episode where Rarity got wings, those wings are an homage to the flutter pony wings.
There is a flutter pony in the original series that's voiced by Minnie Mouse.
True story. So the flutter ponies, if you have one that still has its wings intact, you have something very valuable, because over time they would break down, and it is very hard to find some that are still in good condition today. They also have made baby ponies of almost all of the most popular, famous ponies. They have made the Big Brother ponies, the Clydesdales. They also made other male ponies in family groups where you could get a daddy and mom and one or two little baby ponies in a pack together. And so they have Big Brother ponies, and then they have daddy ponies.
And there was also a bride and groom pony as well.
Yes, I have the bride, not the groom.
I do too. I just won't bring her because
Yeah.
I don't want to get damaged.
But yeah, so then they also had these really fancy collectible ones that would have clothing and stuff like that. Like you said, the bride and groom one. They had limited edition princess ponies that were not the character princess ponies, but they were, they had like long eyelashes, tinsel in their hair, and one had a castle on her butt, the other had a carriage, and they had like their mink throw that they wore. So, I'm trying to think of dates on this. I think it was until about the late 90s that Gen 1 was producing new ponies, and when you get to look at the book, you can just see the wide variety. They came up with so many different ideas for it. But so it started tapering off because I think a lot of girls were like me. They were getting to that age where it was uncool to like My Little Pony, and there was no new series out because Tales had ended. And so they tried to revamp My Little Pony, and they created Gen 2, which was a redesigned My Little Pony. And unfortunately, because I was one of those little girls that was afraid to keep collecting ponies because I didn't want to get picked on, I don't have any Gen 2 ponies, so I printed off pictures. And unfortunately, my printer ink was running out, so some of them aren't too good. But so they made them more slim and horse-like, and redesigned the look of the face. And if you have Gen 2 ponies, they are worth more than the Gen 1 because they were a shorter run, and they were released during the time when My Little Pony was just kind of out.
Dying out a little bit.
Yeah. So then in 2000-ish, they released the dreaded Gen 3 and redesigned My Little Pony to be for children. And Gen 3, the ponies went back to looking a little more like the originals, just a more updated, modern version of the original. Oh, do you want to take the elevator with me around too?
She actually can move.
Yeah.
Feet move.
And I forgot my Gen 3 ponies. I didn't bring them. She didn't bring any of hers, but I'm sure you've all seen them.
Whenever you see, like, if you go to a con and you see commissions of My Little Ponies, and they're like not the Friendship is Magic ones, those are usually always to the Gen 3.
Yeah, Gen 3s, a lot of people ended up butchering them and turning them into custom ponies. They also were trying to get the Gen 1 fans back because at that point the Gen 1 fans were all grown up. So
And
they
having kids.
Yeah, so they started doing like limited edition Gen 3 ponies in nice boxes that were for special causes or special events. Like
I have one for the Children's Network, and it's like Twinkle Star, I think, and I still have it in the box.
yeah, Disney also had a line. They have Belle.
Yeah, they did. If you went to Disney World in 2008, they had like you know how they have like a build your own Mr. Potato Head? They had a build your own My Little Pony, so they had all of the princess ponies and then like this big thing of clothes and shoes and tiaras, and so basically whatever you could cram in the box you could have, so I crammed that sucker full of pony supplies.
They also, every year, do a Generation 3 Comic-Con pony, and they're still doing it. Even though Gen 3 is no more, you can't buy it in stores, they still, every year, release a Gen 3 Comic-Con art pony. I believe
There was a
the
couple.
last one was Tokidoki themed, so.
And there's a couple artists that do like special ones too. The lady that does the really creepy like mermaids and stuff. I can't remember what her name is. Her art freaks me out. But she made it. But
yeah, they do. Gen 3 did a lot of collaborations with different organizations, artists, whatnot, and they did these collector ponies for adults.
we haven't drinking much water this
Yeah,
weekend.
sorry.
Sorry.
So Gen 3, they didn't do a TV series. They just did standalone movies, and the movies were geared for, you know, the toddler crowd, little Rugrats. So, yeah, it's the bane of our existence, but it wasn't nearly as bad as when they discovered, oh look, people like anime, let's make them chibi. And that's when 3.5 happened. And thank goodness 3.5 died almost as soon as it began. They were cute, but they were too cute.
3.5 is like for Dungeons and Dragons fans like 4.0. We just don't act like it exists. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. But we did get our Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo from 3.5, so we have to acknowledge it just for that. And the figures weren't too bad. 3.5, I believe, is when they started doing blind bag ponies, which everybody knows what the blind bags are, right?
Yeah, we've got, they would look like this.
Yeah. So since, you know, everything's gotten cheaper and crappier nowadays, back when blind bags started, they weren't called blind bags, they were called tiny tins. And so you got an actual My Little Pony tin with a mystery pony inside of it, and probably paid about the same price as you're paying for the blind bag and throwaway sack now.
There was actually an advent calendar one for like Christmas, so it was a Christmas tree, and then every time you opened up a little thing, there was like 5 ponies in there, and then, you know, you pull one open and there was cute little like Christmas accessories to go with it. Sorry, I have that somewhere in my house.
And then, I don't know if I even need to touch on the Gen 4 toys, because, I mean, you can just go into any Walmart, Target, look at them. They've done multiple releases of our main 6 and different get-ups, different styles. They made every backgrounder imaginable.
Especially with the mystery bag ones. There are
Yeah.
ponies that she has that I have never even heard of because I sadly didn't really watch.
And I'll admit, I have the Pokemon disease. I gotta catch them all. And so I started out collecting just the big, the normal size pony figures, and I'm like, I will only collect one per character, but I will include backgrounders as those characters. And then things happen where it's like, well, Twilight Sparkle is now an alicorn. So I'm like, well, I have to get regular Twilight Sparkle, but then I have to get the alicorn too. And then originally the Gen 4 Celestia pony was pink, and but they came out with a white one. So I'm like, well, I want the pink one, but I got to get the one that's accurate. And then blind bags came out. I'm like, oh crap. I gotta get them all. And so about probably 2-3 weeks ago, I'm sitting in my room buried under a pile of ponies, and I'm thinking, something's gotta give. I tracked down every blind bag pony from wave 1 through 5 before I said I have to quit here. So if anybody's interested in buying blind bag ponies after the panel, I've got what's left. I've had a table set up the past couple of days, but if you want to rummage, I'm selling off my blind bag ponies. I heard an awe. Don't worry, I kept like 15 of them, so I'm not selling them all.
Where are my 80s ponies at? They're like floating.
Yeah, where is everything circulating?
All right, I'll come get them.
Has everybody seen them in the back, or?
Well, good.
There needs to be stairs there. That's just. Does anybody have any questions?
Just wondering more of your thoughts on Gen 4, like favorite episode, favorite toy to come out, or even favorite fan content that came out of that book.
My favorite episode is the Somnambula one, which is the one that has the Big Brother ponies in it.
She's asking about Gen 4.
Oh, Gen 4?
You see, she's only seen bits and pieces of Gen 4 because she's a purist.
I've
seen it all because, once again, Pokemon syndrome, gotta see it all.
I do like the episode when they first meet Sakura, so that's one episode that I'll have to watch just because I like hearing Fluttershy go, I don't want to talk about it.
I have an episode for you to watch then if you like Flutter Guy. You guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, to answer your question, probably everything that I like about Gen 4 would have to do with Sakura, because I am obsessed with Sakura. And I don't know if everybody knows, but rumor has it Build-A-Bear is going to release a Sakura this year. So sweet! But yeah, so she's my favorite character. She's my favorite toy they released. I don't know how many of you have seen or own the Sakura toy they released. She's glow in the dark, and to make the zebra tail, they like wrapped like those braided bracelets you can do.
Friendship bracelet?
Yeah, they used like that kind of floss thread to wrap around her tail to make it zebra-like and skinny, and then left the poof at the end. So it's a really unusual pony, and like I said, she glows in the dark. She came in a nice cardboard box instead of a blister pack. So Sakura, favorite toy. Sakura, favorite character. And I don't know, favorite episode for Gen 4. There's so many I like that it's really hard to pick just one. I was very impressed with the season finale for this season. So that is fresh in my mind. So I'm thinking right now that that's probably going to be my answer. But if I went back and rewatched stuff, I'd probably have a different answer. But I really have enjoyed most of this past season, and I think they did a good job on it. So, a lot of favorites from this season.
Yes, dear.
Who's your favorite of the main six, and who's your favorite like background pony?
Do you even have an answer for this? Well, you'd probably like Dash because she's based on Firefly.
Yeah, but Firefly was like, she knew when she couldn't do something, and so like she tried. Dash kind of has that whole, I can totally do it, and then she messes up and goes, oh well, crap, I feel like crap now. Let's see, I had a background pony, and I can't remember which one it was. I kind of like, I'm trying to think, whose parents is? Who's the two ones that run the range?
Mr. and Mrs. K.
I kind of like them. I kind of find them adorable. So I guess that would have to be my background pony that I like. Main six. I like Fluttershy, but sometimes I kind of want to punch her in the face. You know? It's like my favorite pony moment is when Rainbow Dash finally does the sonic boom and she screams, "She did it!"
My favorite of the main six, actually, I have two. I like Rarity and I like Twilight because Twilight is my nerdy side and Rarity is my posh bitch side. Sorry to the young ears, but so I like the unicorns.
What do you think about My Little Pony Season 5 of FAM?
Like I said, I really have enjoyed it. There have been a lot of hat tips to past generations, and I think they're finally dealing with the whole Twilight has moved up in the world, which was something that I kind of felt like they needed to deal with sooner. So I'm glad they didn't just gloss over it entirely. So I give it a thumbs up. I really enjoy it.
Do you have a favorite song from this generation?
Flutter Guy. It's when Pinkie Pie begs for her to sing the song. And she sings the creepy song because Pinkie Pie can't talk.
You have some catching up to do.
There
you do.
There's an episode of Flutter Guy singing.
I have
Yeah.
this thing that like if I watch something before it becomes really big and then like a whole bunch of people watch it and like are all obsessed about it, it kind of turns me off. So that's why I haven't watched most of it. But I have a feeling she's gonna like strap me to a chair at some point and like make me watch.
Oh yeah.
Do so.
Do it.
I don't have a specific favorite song, but I tend to, anytime Rarity has a solo song, I tend to have it stuck in my head for weeks afterwards, so. Okay.
What do you think of Pusher movie that came out?
Oh, the one where they're humans?
Equestria Girls.
In all honesty, I felt like they were trying to jump on the Monster High bandwagon. I really saw that as we just need an excuse to have a doll line and make them look as much like Monster High as possible. And being a Monster High fan, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I did have Okay, yes, I'm a fanatic. I also bury myself under Monster High dolls.
The writing.
They're what?
The writing. I'd say the written script wise was.
It was okay. I don't know. I could have done without it, but it did answer one question for me, and that is, where the hell are all the humans? So at least it gave me that.
Because you know, our generation, we had 3 humans.
And we right away at the beginning got the answer to where are the humans.
Oh, we do have to give say one more thing about the 80s one. There was one pony that is actually a real pony, and that is TJ, and that is Megan's pony.
Megan's pony back in our world.
Yeah. And so it's kind of I like TJ. TJ is
and it's funny because the ponies are kind of like, you can't talk.
They'll just be doing horse noises, and they're like, Why aren't you talking?
Okay.
Is there something wrong up in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the thing with Equestria Girls, what's really interesting is, one, they're all like different colors, sense of skin color, they're pink, green. But I shocked myself when I realized that's set in the Doug universe. Doug had that same skin coloring. And that was my headcanon for it.
Okay, you blew my mind.
That's my headcanon.
I like that Okay. All right. So we're gonna do the drawing.
We keep getting the 10 minutes, 5 minutes thing from the back. So we're gonna do our raffle. So keep your fingers crossed. Some good stuff. Do you want to draw or? Let's ask them. Okay, guys. Do you just want to do a one person gets all, try your luck at that? Or do you want us to raffle off for each individual item?
Is there any more tickets? Any more tickets?
Wait, yeah, go ahead.
She didn't get a ticket?
Woot!
Okay.
Is there anybody else who came in last minute that, if you did not get a ticket yet, I've seen most of you in here for a while, so you can come sign it.
Pass the pen down.
Anybody else have any other questions while we get these done?
So here, I'll take it.
Yes, there are some Gen 3 ponies that are worth less, especially Minty. Minty is what we got in. While everybody gets to the side, I'm going to go to the bathroom because I just drank 4 glasses of water. Right back.
Here's another pen.
The whole episode was just blurred out.
Alright, we got white caddies, didn't you? Can you fit it on there?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to start out. We have some candy bracelets for raving, and the first one says Twilight on it. So, the winner of the Twilight bracelet is Elena, or is it Elena? And these were handmade by Sarah, my partner here. Okay, next one we're going to do is an Applejack one that says apple on it in her colors. And that goes to Jenna, I can't read the last name. Hope we only have one Jenna in here.
Spell it. Is it J-E-A-N-N-A?
J-E-A-N-N-A. Okay, the next one is our Rainbow Dash one that says Dash on it. And Dash goes to Shelby M. And our last one is our Pinkie Pie one that says Pinkie on it. And I see at least 3 people here that could probably incorporate it into their current outfit. It goes to Eric M. Eric? Sorry for the Pinkie Pie costume. Okay, I'm going to do, we have little color and pop out stand-ups, and I believe it's got the main 6 in it. Should have all of them. It definitely has Fluttershy and Twilight in it, I can tell you that much. So, this goes to Dustin Lushbaum. Dustin. The next thing we're going to raffle off is peel and stick vinyl graphics. And do you want to hold it?
Vinyl scratch?
Kenna Wallace. Okay. Now we're starting to get into some good stuff here. Let's do the dog tags next. Dog tags go to Jeffrey Hagenbarn. He has a Jigglypuff box. Okay, and next we have a pack of trader cards. It goes to Jessica Bisto. Okay, I believe these are wave 8 blind bags here, and we have 2 of them, so I'm going to draw 2 names. And it is Mando and Hope Anderson. I'll let you guys pick the one you feel lucky about. Okay, next we have the current Fluttershy, who comes with the masquerade mask. It goes to Cho. And we have the Thai Beanie Baby Rainbow Dash. Yeah, I kind of want it too.
Of course everyone wants it. Wants her.
Beth Bonnell.
Oh no.
Okay, our last prize is a DJ Pony tin.
Sounds great.
And the last prize goes to Nana B. Nana B in here.
Is it Nora? N-O-R.
Could be now.
She rewrote them so
Because
that I
I-
can pick them up, but let's see here.
Yeah, I think it was Nora. You can bring it